Hey guys, Mr. Catlin here. Let me go to the page I'm supposed to be on. There we go, lesson 3. And we're going to knock this one out. Let's get started. What is the final elevation if a bird starts at 20 meters? And this is positive, so that's above sea level, and then changes positive 16. So this would be equivalent to just simply doing 20 plus 16, which is 36 meters. All right, let's move on to the next one. So number 2. A butterfly starts at 20 meters above sea level, but then it changes and it goes downwards by 16. So this would be like doing 20 plus a negative 16. And since their signs are different, and it's just like doing the subtraction problem 20 minus 16, we just get 4. So we have to actually subtract there to get that answer. Let's move on to the next one. Let's say that we have a diver. All right, a guy that's jumping into the water. He starts at 5 meters and then he goes down 16. So adding a negative 16 is going to put him underwater. So his answer is going to be negative. And since the signs of these two numbers are different, we found out that we need to subtract them to get our answer. So 16 minus 5, that's going to give us our answer of 11. But since he went down further than where he started, then that answer is definitely negative 11 meters. All right, the next one says a whale starts at negative 9, so it's 9 meters below, and then it's coming up to the surface for like a jump to get a blow of air. So it rises up 11, and it rises up enough to get up above the water. And since the signs are different here, one's negative and one's positive, we can subtract to find the difference of how far above the water it goes, and it gets 2 meters above. So it's positive 2 meters. And lastly, the very last one here, we have a fish that starts 9 below. Okay, so it's underwater, and then it just swims down deeper into the ocean and goes down 11. So that could be represented by adding a negative 11. Since both of their signs are negative, and this is just getting deeper into the negatives, we can simply just do 11 plus 9 to get our answer of 20. But we know that since it was swimming downward and deeper, that it is negative 20 meters. So we had to do the problems in the middle to find the answer, but we also have to think, is this going to be positive or this is going to be negative? So we're looking at charges of atoms, electrons versus protons. And the charge is based on who wins that battle. Are there more protons or are there more electrons? Electrons have negative charges, protons have positive charges. If you have the same number of each, your charge is 0. It is stable. But if there's a difference in number of charges, then you're going to have a different positive or negative charge in that atom. Neon has the same amount of each, so it has a neutral charge, 0. But in oxide, you'll notice that there are more electrons than there are protons, and the protons are losing by 2. So the negatives win this battle by 2. In copper, you'll notice that protons are winning that battle by 2. There's 2 more of the protons than there are electrons. So positive 2 is our charge on copper. And lastly, 10 is neutral because it has the same number of each. We just complete the table there. Really super easy. Last week, the price in dollars of a gallon of gasoline was G. This week, the price of gasoline per gallon increased by 5%. So if you go from 100% and then you add 5%, then you are at 105%. So think of it that way, okay? We were at G, and we're adding 5% to that G, okay? We can't just add 5 cents. That doesn't make sense. It's 5%, which is what that looks like, but it's 5% of G, so that one's not going to work. All right, this one's okay because G is 100% of itself. This is like G. And then 5% of G would look like this mathematically because you would multiply 0.05 times G to find it. And that would equal what we're looking for. So B is a good choice. What would happen if you add 100 plus 5? Well, you get 105, which is why this one is a good choice. Not a good choice here because that's only going to find a fraction of what the price was last time. And E is actually the exact same thing as C. They just broke it down into an addition of the 100 and the 5%. So you want to choose B, C, and E for number 3. And lastly, we're going to do a little bit of practice here with our skills of adding and subtracting some rational numbers. So let's jump right into it. 28.9 and 14.7. Easy enough. No negatives, so no worries. 6, carry the 1. 9 plus 4 is 13. Carry the 1. 3, 4. Decimal. It's not going to count because we're adding here. It just comes straight down. 43.6. Let's look at the next one. We have negative 9 plus 4.2. The signs of the two numbers are different, so we're going to find their difference since they are different. So we're going to have to borrow from that and make 8, and that'll become 12. And 12 minus 4 is 6 plus 2 is 8. 8 minus 4 is 4. Our difference is 4.2. But who wins this battle? If I'm at negative 9-ish and I only go up 4-ish, I don't have enough to get out of the negative. So I know that this is a negative answer. All right, let's look at this next one here. The signs are the same. They're both negative. So I'm going to actually find their absolute values sum. I'm at negative 81, and I'm just going to go down 12 from there. So I need to add their absolute values together to find out how far down I'm going to go, right? So when I do that, I get 93.4. And since I'm just going down and down and down more and more negative, I know that that is a negative answer between those two things. All right, and then lastly, let's finish up here with 51.8 and negative 8/10. Signs are different, so I need to find their difference of their two numbers. And that would set up like so. And it's very easy. It's 51. And the question is, if I'm at 51.8 and I go back 8/10, did I go back enough to enter into the negatives? No, of course not. I got way more positive value than I got negative value. So we're going to keep this one positive. And that finishes up lesson 3. Have a good day.